Hello and welcome to my 112 showcase video. For my term project, I decided to do the Settlers of Catan Sleigh Edition, so let's go ahead and get started by pressing the start button. Oh, just like the classic board game, you can play with 3 or 4 players, but first let's click on how to play. If you've never played Catan before or just need a refresher, you can go ahead and pause the video and read these. But the main goal of the game is to be the first player to reach 10 victory points. It's a turn-based game, a dice is rolled, and you just keep on going through turns until someone reaches those 10 points. So for the purposes of this video, we're going to choose 3 players just to show more of the gameplay. We have the player screen here. It'll welcome each player and they can select their colors. This is the order screen. Since it is a turn-based game, by rolling a dice, each player will initially be able to roll each dice and it'll order them from those initial rolls in player order. So this is the actual game board screen. Before we can do anything, we need to set up the game board, and we will do that in the order that was determined earlier, which will also be how the game is played. You can see that player order in the top right corner. Additionally, you'll be able to tell what player's turn it is based upon the color of the building cost, the specific player table, and the top left corner will display it is player blank's turn. Right now we are on the help screen, just like we had the how-to screen at the beginning of the game. This is the same screen, but can be accessed throughout gameplay just in case you need any clarification. So right now on the screen, the players are setting up their initial settlements and road pieces. The directions for placing each of these can be seen on the top left corner. Each player will have 2 settlements and 2 roads that they can place, one at a time. It'll go in ascending order and then descending order for the player turns. Once the player setup is done, a player can begin their turn. Before doing anything, they must roll the dice. Then they can access the player table to see their resources. This player can buy a development card. They got a victory point, and that point is reflected anywhere a victory point can be found. So the rest of this video is pretty much sped up gameplay. A player will be able to build anything that they can with their resources denoted on the building cost card. Any action they can make will be also displayed on the right-hand side. They can also trade throughout their turns. This person right now just tried to trade communally, but no one could do so. Additionally, you can determine what resources you're going to get after the turn. So right now a 9 was rolled. If your settlement is on a hex that has a 9 tile attached to it, you will get such resource. So that's what's going on right now, which is a ton of sped up gameplay. You can see the actions of everything that's going on, the trade, the communal trade, the building of settlements, the building of roads. Bank trade will be coming up later. Right now this is port trade because this orange player, player number 3, has a settlement that's on a port. That's the only way that you are able to do such. The port is a sheep port because the color is green, which directly correlates to the sheep resource. The ports are different colors. If it's a color of a resource, it's a resource port. If it's black, it is just a anything port where any 3 of the same resources can be traded in for 1. And this is also denoted on the help screen. So now we see all of a sudden the dice are blue. What does that mean? Let's go to the rules. We can see that rolling a 7 indicated by a blue dice. If you have any player that has more than 7 resources will have half of them taken away randomly. So we're just quickly going through some more gameplay. Throughout this gameplay, we can see that one player has gotten a knight card. You can get a knight card by purchasing development cards. A knight card will give you any number of resources from 1 to 3 of any combination of resources. Additionally, if you have more than 3 knight cards and have the greatest amount of knight cards, you will get the largest army card, which will grant you 2 victory points. Throughout the gameplay, we can also see that a player has gotten the longest road card, and this would be granted to a player that has more than 5 road pieces and has the greatest amount of road pieces out of all of the players. And that also grants you 2 victory points. Both of these cards, the largest army card and the longest road card, are described in the help screen. We've highlighted a lot of the building options that are highlighted on the building cost card, such as roads and settlements. We have not talked about cities yet. So this player right now is about to buy a city after they trade with others. Cities replace a current settlement that you have. The way to place them is highlighted in that top left box. But once you play a city and have a city placed, instead of receiving 1 resource for a certain number that you have that has been rolled, you then get 2. Again, this is highlighted in the player help screen.
Also, the victory points for each type of building cost item is highlighted on the building cost card. Since a city replaces a settlement, it actually doesn't give you 2 victory points. It gives you 1 in total extra, since you'll be subtracting that 1 settlement victory point and then adding the 2 city points. So it's a net gain of 1 point.
So we might as well go over some more of the development cards that you can get. So you can get that victory point, which we highlighted earlier. You can only have 3 development cards at a time. So in order to get another one, and you have 3, you need to play one of them. If you have 3 victory points, you are capped out of development cards. Since you don't have to play victory points, they just sit in your victory they just sit in your development card pile. Additionally, another type of development card is the road building card. If you activate that card, and cards can be activated by a certain key number, the card will tell you press 1, press 2, press 3 to activate this card. The road building card will allow the player to build a road, and they do not have to pay for it with their resources. So now we can see that player 9 has 9 victory points. They're about to place this other settlement, and once they end their turn, you can see they have 10 victory points. It will go to the player end screen, and you can see the order in which everyone came in. So congrats to player 1. We can also press this quit button, and it'll take us out of the game. In this final part of the video, I just wanted to highlight some things that were not shown in the 3-player gameplay. This is what it looks like with 4 players. The board just looks a little bit different. The main board setup, and then additionally the communal trade also looks a little bit different because now you have 3 players to pick from. And then also the Monopoly development card was not highlighted, so I just want to show what that looks like. It's a little bit risky because it picks any resource and gathers all of that resource from every player and gives it to the player that has played that card. But if it picks a resource that no one has, you can end up with no cards. So it's a risk to play the Monopoly card. So that was my 112 term project. I hope you enjoyed this video and my game, and thank you so much for watching.